Good morning, students. In this lecture 43rd of mechanics, we will discuss one of the most important topic, that is Rutherford scattering. Now this Rutherford scattering, it is related to the elastic scattering, and our main motive is to find the differential elastic scattering cross section in case of Rutherford scattering. Now what is this Rutherford scattering? It is the scattering observed by Rutherford in case of positively charged nucleus and positively charged particle which is approaching that nucleus. As initially that positively charged particle, it is at infinite distance from that positively charged nucleus. But this positively charged particle, it is approaching that nucleus. So at infinity, there will be no force between them. But when this positively charged particle, it will approach the nucleus, then force of repulsion between them, that will increase. And at one point, the force of repulsion will be maximum. And at that point, the positively charged particle, it will be elastically scattered by the positively charged nucleus, and that particle, it will move back again to infinity, and its path will be hyperbolic path, and we will prove that its path is hyperbolic path. So this is all about Rutherford scattering. So consider a positively charged particle having charge Z-E, and it is approaching the nucleus having positive charge Ze, and as you know, when this positively charged particle, it will approach the positively charged nucleus, then there will be Coulomb interaction between them. And according to Coulomb's law, suppose F is the force between the positively charged particle and the positively charged nucleus. So according to Coulomb's law, this F force, it will be given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. Charge on positively charged particle is Z-E into charge on nucleus is Ze upon, suppose distance between them is R, so R square. So rewrite it. F is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Z square by R square, and suppose this equation as equation number 1. And as the force is repulsive in nature, and repulsive forces, they are positive in nature, so that is why here we have positive sign. Now we can write this positive sign as negative into negative, and we have 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Z square by R square, and now put this is equal to K. So put K is equal to minus Z square upon 4 pi epsilon naught, and what you will get? You will get this Coulomb interaction between the two positively charged particle and the nucleus. It will be equal to minus K by R square, and suppose this equation as equation number 2 and this as equation number 3. And suppose, as I have already told you, that this positively charged particle, it is initially at infinite distance from that nucleus. So at that time, there will be no interaction between them. It means potential energy of the system will be 0 at that time. So the total energy of the system, when the two are at infinite distance from each other, it will be purely kinetic in nature. So initially you have to write whole theory. So I am telling you just verbally, so write it yourself. So initially the total energy of the system, it will be purely kinetic, and suppose that energy is E and it will be equal to half. Suppose mu is the reduced mass of the system of nucleus and positively charged particles, so it will be half mu, and this positively charged nucleus, it is at rest. Only the positively charged particle which is approaching the nucleus, only that is moving. So initially suppose that its velocity is u. So this total energy, it will be equal to the kinetic energy, which is half mu u square. And suppose this as equation number 4. Now consider the coordinate system where the positively charged nucleus having charge plus Ze, it is placed at the origin of the coordinate system. And this is the positively charged particle which is approaching this nucleus from infinity. So when it is approaching at any time, suppose this particle, it is at point P and having plane polar coordinates r and theta. But here instead of theta, we will use theta dash. Why? Because we are using this theta as angle of scattering. This theta, this whole angle, it is the angle of scattering. So that is why, to differ this coordinate, plane polar coordinate from this angle of scattering, we are using it as theta dash. So r theta dash, these are the coordinates of that positively charged particle which is approaching the nucleus at any time t, and its velocity is u initially. So this r, it is the radial distance from the origin. So it will be this distance. This distance is r. And this angle, it is theta dash. Now see, this positively charged particle, it is, as it is approaching this positively charged nucleus, the force of repulsion between them will increase. And at this point, the force of repulsion between them is maximum. So here, this part, so this is the distance of closest approach. And at this point, this positively charged particle, it will be elastically scattered by this nucleus. So it will move back to infinity after scattering. And what is impact parameter? It is the perpendicular distance between the velocity vector, because if this particle, if it will not suffer any scattering, then it will move in this direction. Then what will be the perpendicular distance of its velocity vector from this positively charged nucleus or from the center of the force? It will be this. So this is impact parameter B. And suppose this is ON. So as we can see, this particle, it is following the hyperbolic path, and we will prove mathematically that the equation which we will get, that will be of hyperbolic path. So this is the trajectory followed by the particle in case of Rutherford scattering. And you might have studied in your geometry, maths, that these are the asymptotes of hyperbolic path. Actually, what are asymptotes? Asymptotes are those lines or curves, these lines, which are approaching this curve, but they will never touch this curve. They will never touch this actual path followed by the particle. So these Asymptotes, these are the lines or the curves which approach any line but don't touch that line. So this is asymptotes. So next, what will be the equation of trajectory of this path followed by the particle? This we have derived in case of chapter central forces. So the equation of trajectory, followed by the charged particle, it is 1 by r, it is equal to 1 by L, 1 plus E cos, instead of theta here we have theta dash. And suppose this equation as equation number 5th. So this will be the equation of trajectory followed by the charged particle, where this L is semi-lattice rectum. This we have studied in chapter central force field. This L is semi-lattice rectum and E is the eccentricity, and we have already derived the expression of this eccentricity. E is eccentricity and it is equal to 1 plus 2 E L square by mu K square. So suppose this equation as equation number 6th. Now what is this L? What is L? It is the angular momentum of the charged particle. And we know that angular momentum is equal to mvr. So here the angular momentum of the charged particle, it will be equal to, L is the angular momentum of the charged particle and it will be equal to mvr. And what is m here? It is mu. What is v here? It is u. And what is r here? It is the perpendicular distance of the positively charged particle from the center of the force. It is b. So what will be the value of L? It is mu b, and put the value of u from the equation of energy. And that equation is our equation number 4th. From this equation 4th, find the value of u. What will be u here? It is 2e by mu. It is equal to u square. It implies u is equal to root 2e by mu. Now put this value in that equation. So we have L is equal to mu b root 2e by mu. So L will be equal to b root 2e mu. And suppose this is equation number 7th. Now, in this expression of eccentricity, put that value of L which we have derived in equation 7th, and we have already supposed this k in our equation number 2. This k was equal to minus z dash e square by 4 pi epsilon naught. So put the value of L and k in equation number 6th and we get E is equal to root 1 plus 2e. What is L square? It will be b square 2e mu divided by mu. What will be k square? It will be z square z dash square e raised to power 4 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught square. So here we have eccentricity is equal to 1 plus this mu and mu, it will be cancelled out. So you can see this 2 into 2 will be 2 square. This is e square, this is b square, this is z square, z dash square, e square, square, 4 pi epsilon naught square. So 1 plus this term, it is the square of 2e b into 4 pi epsilon naught divided by z dash e square whole square. So you can write this 4 into 2 as 8. Now this is square. If this is square, this will be always positive. And if this is always positive, this implies our eccentricity, it will always be greater than 1. So eccentricity of the path followed by the particle, it will always be greater than 1, and eccentricity is greater than 1 for hyperbolic path. So this proved that particle, it will always follow the hyperbolic trajectory. And one more thing. Now from this figure, what we have this phi, theta plus phi, it is equal to 180 degree. So from the figure, we have phi plus theta plus phi. What is phi? Phi is the angle which the asymptote makes with the x-axis. Both the asymptotes, they make an angle phi with the x-axis, and theta is the angle between asymptotes, or you can say that angle of scattering. It is equal to 180 degree, and we have 2 phi plus theta, it is equal to 180 degree. So what will be the value of phi here? It will be 2 phi is equal to 180 degree minus theta. So phi will be 180 by 2, it is 90 degree minus theta by 2. And suppose this equation as equation 8 and this equation as equation 9. Now what are the equation of asymptotes? Now write the equation which will represent these asymptotes. What is the r coordinate for these asymptotes? R approaches to infinity for these asymptotes. So r approaches to infinity, and what will be the value of theta? So what will be the theta coordinate? Means theta dash coordinate. This is the theta dash coordinate of both the asymptotes. And here this theta dash coordinate, it is equal to phi. So for the asymptotes, what are the coordinates? R approaches to infinity, and plane polar coordinates of asymptotes are R approaches to infinity, and theta dash, it is equal to phi. This is theta dash, angle with the x-axis. So it is equal to phi in case of asymptotes. So for asymptotes, what are the plane polar coordinates? R is equal to infinity and theta dash, it is equal to phi. And put these values in the equation of trajectory. And what is that? That is our equation number 5th. Put those values in equation number 5th. And what you will get? We get 1 by r means 1 by infinity. It is equal to 1 by L. 1 plus e cos theta dash, which is phi. 1 by infinity is 0. 0 into L, it will be 0. Here we have 1 plus e cos phi. So 1 plus e cos phi, it is equal to 0. E cos phi, it will be minus 1, and cos phi will be minus 1 by e. And what is phi? We have already derived the value of phi. Phi is 90 degree minus theta by 2. It is equal to minus 1 by e. And what is cos 90 minus theta? It is first quadrant. So it is sin theta. So sin theta by 2. It is equal to minus 1 by e. And if this is the value of sin theta by 2, what will be the value of cosecant theta by 2? Take its reciprocal. And why we are taking this cosecant theta by 2? Because from the equation of eccentricity, from this equation 8, squaring both sides of this equation. If you will square both sides of this equation, what you will get? E square, it is equal to 1 plus this term, which is 8 pi b e epsilon naught upon z dash e square whole square. And when you will move this 1 to this side, you will get e square minus 1 is equal to this term. So actually, we have to find the value of E square minus 1 in terms of cos, cot, or in terms of trigonometric function. So that is why we are finding this cosecant to calculate the value of E square minus 1. So here we have sine theta by 2 is minus 1 by E. So cosecant theta by 2, it will be minus E. And squaring both sides, when you will square both sides, you will get cosecant square theta by 2, it is equal to E square. Then minus 1 on both sides, you will get minus 1 on this side and minus 1 on this side. And what is cosecant square theta minus 1? It is cot square theta. So cot square theta by 2, cot square theta by 2, it is equal to E square minus 1, and this E square minus 1, it is equal to 8 pi epsilon naught E b upon z dash E square whole square. It means this is equal to this. So what is the value of this 8 pi epsilon naught E b upon z dash E square? It is equal to cot theta by 2. Now from this equation, calculate the value of impact parameter B. Why? Because we have to calculate differential scattering cross section, and the formula for that is minus B by sine theta into dB by d theta. So we need to find the expression of B in terms of theta. So from this equation, B will be z dash E square upon 8 pi epsilon naught E into cot theta by 2. So this is B in terms of theta. Now to find differential scattering cross section, calculate dB by d theta, because formula for that is minus B by sine theta into dB by d theta. So dB by d theta will be differentiated z dash E square upon 8 pi epsilon naught E. Differentiation of cot theta by 2 is minus cosecant square theta by 2 into differentiation of theta by 2 with respect to theta, it is 1 by 2. So we have dB by d theta, it is equal to minus z dash E square upon 16 pi epsilon naught E cosecant square theta by 2. So what will be the differential scattering cross section? It will be sigma scattering theta, and it is equal to minus B by sine theta dB by d theta. So put both of these values here, and what you will get? You will get the expression for differential scattering cross section. And that will be equal to, by putting the values of B and dB by d theta, you will get 1 by 16 z dash E square upon 4 pi epsilon naught E whole square 1 by sine raised to power 4 theta by 2. So this is the expression for differential scattering cross section in case of Rutherford scattering. So what are the conclusions? You have to write conclusions also, which are the most important. What are the conclusions? That this differential scattering cross section in case of positively charged particle approaching any positively charged atomic nucleus, it is directly proportional to the square of the charge on the atomic nucleus, because it is directly proportional to Ze. And it is also directly proportional to the charge over the particle. And it is inversely proportional to theta. What is theta? It is angle of scattering. So differential scattering cross section, it is inversely proportional to this sine 4 theta by 2. It means it is inversely proportional to the angle of scattering. And what is this E? It is the initial kinetic energy of the system. So this differential scattering cross section, it is inversely proportional to the initial kinetic energy of the particle. So this is all about Rutherford scattering, and this is one of the most important topic which is always there in exams of this unit number 2.